Federal Inland Revenue Service launches revised standard operating procedure to streamline tax payment. Nigeria-UK firms sign memorandum of understanding on electric vehicles and battery production. Oil inches up. Outcome of U.S.-China trade talks awaited. Plus, Asia-Pacific markets climb as investors await details of U.S.-China trade talks. The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Naika Oko, your guide. Welcome to the program. Let's begin by telling you that the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills Jr., has reiterated the U.S. government commitment to continue to work with Nigeria to unlock the potential of both countries' commercial partnership. Adola Kemi Akere reports that the ambassador made the remark in Lagos.
U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, speaking towards a robust U.S.-Nigeria commercial and investment partnership, said the reinforcement of both countries' economic bond is a relationship that stands as a beacon. Ambassador Mills Jr. said the new administration in Washington is refocusing on its strategy with the adoption of a new commercial diplomacy, marking a new chapter in Africa relations.
We have two-way trade in goods and services that totaled roughly $13 billion in 2024. In terms of actual investment, the United States remains one of Nigeria's leading foreign investors, with foreign direct investment reaching $6.5 billion in 2023, which was a 5.5% increase from 2022. And all of these connections, this trade, this view of Nigeria as a country emerging to take a rightful role on the global stage beyond what it has already.
The ambassador revealed that more than 20,000 Nigerian students are currently studying in the U.S. and represent the largest number from any African country, while over 750,000 people of Nigerian descent reside in the United States. The key priority in the U.S.-Nigeria relations is the increase in trade, investment, and business linkages.
Now is the time for us both to build on the strength of these aid investments, and for Nigeria, one of Africa's largest economies with huge economic potential, to enter a new phase of vibrant, private sector-led growth.
The Commercial and Investment Partnership, CIP, to be signed later in Abuja this month, has Nigeria as one of the 5 African nations as partner.
Now, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, has revised its Standard Operating Procedure, SOP, as part of efforts to improve consistency, transparency, and service delivery in tax administration across the country. A statement by the Special Advisor on Communication Strategy and Advocacy to the Executive Chairman of FIRS, Collins Omokaro, said the revised SOP offers a unified framework for core tax processes, including registration, payment, audit, and enforcement. The statement added that the revised SOP is designed to eliminate such disparities by providing a single clear roadmap for operations in all of the services over 300 offices nationwide. The Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers has urged President Bola Tinubu to prioritize insurance as a key driver in achieving a $1 trillion economy. Executive Secretary of the association, Tope Adaramola, who made the call, said the insurance sector has vast potential to support economic growth, but deeper reforms and stronger government backing are essential to realize its full value. He described the passage of the insurance reform bill by the House of Representatives as a significant milestone, noting it now awaits presidential assent. Foreign exchange inflows into Nigeria rose by 62% per month to $5.96 billion as the Nigerian currency, the naira, appreciated 551 naira per dollar due to renewed investor confidence and robust domestic participation in the foreign exchange market. How is it exchanging for other currencies? Let's see. Now, on the conversation this morning, we will be talking about the global supply chain of rare earth minerals. These critical elements are vital for everything from your smartphone to electric vehicles and wind turbines, and these are currently dominated by a single player, China. Ongoing high-level trade talks in London between the U.S. and China have once again highlighted the fragility of this dependency, with rare earth export restrictions being a major point of contention. But what if there was an alternative? What if Nigeria, right here on the African continent, could emerge as a significant new source? Well, joining us to discuss Nigeria's potential in this critical sector is Dr. Emeka Okenwu, a distinguished expert in mineral economics and strategic resource development. Dr. Okenwu, thank you for being here on Business Express.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Great. Let's start with the big picture. We know rare earths are vital and China currently holds immense sway. From your perspective, how significant is the global push for diversification in this sector, particularly given the ongoing trade tensions?
Well, I think the first thing we'll do is to put a meaning to the word rare earth, because when you use the word rare, it distinguishes it as something that is very, very spectacular or very, very rare, as it were, not easy to reach. When you talk about rare earth minerals, you're actually talking about rare earth elements because the rare earth minerals are actually in abundance. You'll be very surprised. Even from something like everybody knows as much as laterite clay, you have rare earth elements inside it. So it's important to distinguish between rare earth minerals and rare earth elements so that you can make the conversation a little bit more engaging, and then people listening to us can actually find out or follow what it is we're talking about. Now, having established that, yes, Nigeria can become a veritable, source of rare earth elements because we have a lot of the minerals that are host to these elements. However, the challenge is not having, this rare earth, like I just told you about, something like laterite, laterite clay, which everybody sees as clay. But the process of now getting these elements out of the laterite clay is actually where the challenge now presents. And this is why it seems as if China is holding everybody by the jugular. It's not as if America or any other country will not be able to meet that demand. But the process is actually what will take some time. Process of now being able to segregate, process of now being able to, remove the elements required to start playing in the international markets is actually where the challenge is. But to put it simply, we have plenty of the minerals that host rare earth elements in Nigeria.
Great. Many might be surprised to actually learn that Nigeria has significant rare earth potential, just like you mentioned. Can you elaborate on the extent of these reserves and the types of rare earth minerals found here?
There are so many: rhodium, lithium, scandium, molybdenum. It's so many. You know, like I said, almost every mineral has some element in it. It is the removal, okay, of that element that's actually where the challenge, of the rare earth elements are. And that's why I said it's important you segregate the rare earth minerals from its elements. Okay, we have a lot. We have scheelite, somewhere in I think between Niger State and Kogi State. There's a lot of scheelite. It's very rare. It's as rare as it can be. Okay, so it is that technology, is that capacity to be able to remove, the elements from the primary host. That is actually where the thing. You could be very surprised that there are sands that contain a lot of these elements, but it is the capacity and the ability and the technology, to be able to beneficiate out these elements that can now constitute the rare metals, and it's quite a tortuous, process. But it is doable. Nigeria presents a lot of, potentials because, again, we don't have a lot of our country built up. So a lot of these metals, a lot of these minerals can actually be, gotten in their volumes, and then, that will yield you, these very valuables that you require to play in the global market. But a journey of 1,000 miles, they say, starts, by you first and foremost, getting ready to stand, not even taking the first step. So if today our country decides that rare earths is a way to go, then you'll be very, very surprised how quickly we can be able to now start thinking about, getting into the rare earth market. More so, you've listed the potentials, you've listed the uses, so there's no need for me to talk about it anymore. But it's practically the New Deal. It's in everything that can make you a global power or put you into that table where politics of international economic relations are discussed.
That's good to know. Now, the United States Geological Survey, for instance, estimates we have roughly 6 million tons of monetized ore reserves, and this is particularly important because monazite is abundant in light rare earth elements like cerium and the rest of them, the very elements essential for electric vehicle batteries and renewable energy technologies, in addition to aerospace, defense, and power generation. Now, we are told these minerals are found mostly in Plateau State and Nasarawa State. What do we need to harness, what do we need to do to harness all of these potentials, particularly at this time?
That's what I'm saying. You see, you're forgetting a more important one, which is called the lithium. Okay. Until 2-3 years ago, nobody knew about lithium. But now everybody is screaming lithium. You're forgetting that we also have nickel. You have a whole hill in Kaduna State. I'm talking about a hill, that's nickel. Now, nobody's also talking about nickel. These are all these rare earths, material. Like I said, they're everywhere. Nobody even talks about scheelite, okay, which might even be rarer than the monazite that you've talked about. I don't think you're very correct to say it's between Jos and Plateau State. I don't know. Did you say Benue or Jos? But I think we have most of our rarest of our minerals around the Taraba, Yobe axis. This will shock you. Okay, these are Nigeria isn't explored 5%. What we've just simply done is do a lot of geological mapping. We have really not, done mineral mapping, as it were, vis-a-vis, drilling it down. Okay, I don't think I stand to be corrected. I don't think we'll have any borehole in this country that has gone beyond 60 meters. But you have other countries that have gone over 1,000 meters in depth, into depth probing. So we are just that new frontier waiting to be discovered. So if you talk about monazite, I just mentioned You have not talked about. There's so many of them really. For us to, if we started listing the 18 or 17, you can now start even, getting it to the second levels. But like I said, what's important is that there has to be this commitment for Nigeria to know that it's something, we can go into. Before tin, tantalite was discovered, everybody was focused on tin. But after some time, they now found out that inside, tantalite, inside tin, you had another element called the TA05, which is tantalum. And tantalum now became the heavy deal. Tantalum was the first element that was used in making, the smartphones and then electric engines, aircraft engines to make them noiseless. So there's so much in the mineral world that presents a lot of potential. So it's not only these two states you mentioned, the whole of the Nigerian geological belt, it's full of minerals that nobody has touched at all, or even known, if you may.
Yeah, that's good. Now, what are some of the primary challenges Nigeria faces in truly becoming a viable alternative rare earth supplier? What are some of the hurdles that we face today?
Well, before we reach the rare earth supply, we need to become a mineral destination. Okay, you don't start supplying what you don't have. Okay, you need to produce it to supply it, and this is where, the steps has to be taken, and they're very clear technical steps. You can't miss any. It starts with reconnaissance, and after that, you do your mapping. After that, you do your trenching. After that, you do your pitting. After that, you do your grading, and after that, you do, your depth probing, and after that, you can now begin to now talk about mining development. And these things I've just listed won't take you any day less than 3 years. Okay, it's a very detailed process, and if you miss one, you might just start singing, to the paper. But the moment you're able to get to that point where you now have what they call your in-situ data, okay, you now can be able to now say, okay, in ground, we have X amount. And it's only after that you can now begin to now talk about, your funding. And you see, mining, it's a very capital-intensive program, but not capital-intensive all the way. It's capital-intensive in understanding what to do and when to do it. And then the roles of who does it and how it is done. That's one part of it. Now, the other part is that a lot of, these minerals occur in ungoverned places, meaning that you need a lot of security. All right, they occur far away from human habitation. And, money is one of the biggest cowards. And the heavy equipment you need is not one thing you can put on your back, on your head, and then take off. You need to secure the place. It takes a lot of time to get into a mining location, and a longer time, to even start dismantling and then removing. So it's a whole gamut of challenges, but none are insurmountable. All of them can be met. All of them can be, brought under control.
All right, Doc, looking ahead, if Nigeria can effectively tackle these challenges, what does that mean for the global rare earths market and for Nigeria itself?
It means that we can now become that new, if you may, China that can begin to hold the world on its jugular. Okay, because right now, what China is doing is going to be negatively, if that deal is not, if some agreements are not reached, you can be certain that a lot of planes might not be flying in the air sooner than later, because a lot of the things you require to get them in the skies, China is holding. A lot of computers, might start crashing, because a lot of the things you also need to put the back end, these rare earth minerals, a lot of military installations, a lot of, sea, land, transportation will start getting impacted. A lot of energy, facilities. So it's everything, like you said in your intro. Rare earth minerals actually are the little veins, that carry blood to the heart. Okay, the moment they block, no matter how large your heart is, it's going to knock. It's going to be challenged. So it's very critical that we begin to, have a defined program, focus on how we can begin to, identify these rare earths and identify the things we need to do, and very quickly, to begin to now play in that arena.
That's great. Dr. Emeka Okenwu, it was a pleasure having you on Business Express. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Moving on, the federal government says its agricultural reforms are designed to ensure food availability, affordability, and accessibility for all Nigerians. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, who disclosed these, highlighted the government's ongoing interventions in the agricultural sector to tackle food insecurity and revive the nation's economy. He said the ministry had adopted a multi-pronged strategy to address challenges such as insecurity, flooding, and import dependency, particularly in critical areas like wheat and rice production. In a strategic move to strengthen food security and improve public health, the Jigawa state government has launched the distribution of biofortified climate-resilient seeds to 30,000 smallholder farmers. The improved seed varieties, including iron-rich pearl millet and vitamin A fortified maize, are expected to enhance crop yields, combat malnutrition, and support sustainable agriculture amid growing environmental pressures.
In the sun-soaked farmlands of Jigawa, hope is sprouting once again. Smallholder farmers gathered in excitement as Governor Umar Namadi flagged off the distribution of improved biofortified seeds, iron-rich pearl millet, and vitamin A-enriched maize. The governor, while addressing the farmers, reiterated his administration's commitments to providing quality and climate-resilient seeds that can thrive in extreme weather conditions such as drought and flooding. Experts say the introduction of these seeds aligns with modern agricultural best practices. They are expected to improve nutrition, particularly among women and children, by bridging the nutritional gap often found in conventional crops varieties.
Economic growth and economic diversification heavily depend on what happens in the agricultural sector. This informs our commitment to remain supportive to our farmers. I therefore urge you to embrace our transformation effort and leverage on all the opportunities that comes with it.
These are very fundamental. They are high-yielding varieties. They are short-duration cultivars, which perfectly help farmers to face the climate change we are battling here in Jigawa.
In addition to seed distribution, the government is rolling out other critical interventions, including inputs financing, a farm mechanization fund, institutional reforms, and improved market systems, all designed to support and sustain smallholder farmers.
This type of seed has high yield and does not require early planting, as it only takes 65 to 70 days to harvest.
With the improved seeds in their hands and renewed support at their backs, thousands of farmers across Jigawa are poised to transform their farmlands and their futures.
Now, Nigeria Customs Service Federal Operations Unit Zone A has impounded smuggled bulletproof vests, ballistic helmets, security uniforms that can constitute security threats, other contrabands such as narcotics, second-hand clothing, rice, and other prohibited items valued at over 1.28 billion naira were also intercepted. Controller of the unit, Mohammed Shuaibu, explained that the seizures were made across various locations in the southwest region within 2 weeks, with 7 suspects arrested.
All 46 interceptions were recorded during these 2 weeks of operation, comprising the following: rice, 2,051 by 50 kg each, foreign parboiled rice equivalent to about 4 trucks. 11 used vehicles, popularly known as Tokombo vehicles, 4,000 liters of premium motor spirit PMS, 1 white black J5 commercial bus loaded with spare goods. Patrol teams around the border areas across the 6 states of the southwest have intensified surveillance of our borders against unscrupulous elements among Nigerians.
Well, this is where we end this edition of Business Express. We value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. Business Express returns on Wednesday by 3 p.m. I am Neka Oko saying, keep thinking and doing business.